Okay, so we had 2 hens go broody on us recently, and we decided we would let them hatch out some eggs. And when we did that, they were fine for about a week, week and a half, and then we started to notice that one of the eggs was cracked because either the hen stepped on it or one of the other chickens stepped on it in the nesting box. And I was starting to get nervous because one of the hens also wasn't staying inside of her nesting box as she was supposed to, and constantly getting out. So I took the eggs from them and put them in our incubator and let them hatch out. And we fixed the cracked one with some candle wax, and it was actually the first one to hatch, which was great. But this chicken, let's see if I can turn it around. This chicken right here, her name is Pepper. She's still broody, so I'm gonna have to take her out of there today and put her in a crate to break her broodiness. She is not the friendliest chicken, and my husband was kind of skeptical that she was going to make a good broody hen just because I don't know, she's just sketchy. So we ended up giving her some chicks. Sorry, I thought this would be easier to talk outside. So we gave her 3 babies because 6 were hatched out of the 8 that were in the incubator. We gave her 3 babies, and then basically as soon as we did that, she decided that she was going to attack the babies, and I freaked out. I didn't like that. It made me really nervous. I could have waited it out to see if she would have calmed down and taken the babies, but it didn't look good. So I took all of her 3 babies and the other chicken's 3 babies and just gave them all to the one chicken. And she seems to be doing really well with those babies. But it just goes to show that sometimes, even if they seem like they're going to be great because they're super good through the whole broody process and they take care of their eggs, even though like she would get off the eggs at times, overall she was pretty good. She's still sitting in there, and it's been probably 5 days. So even though she did pretty well overall, as soon as we gave her the chicks, she freaked out. And the other chicken got a little bit nervous at first, and then she settled right down, and she's been great with all the chicks that she has in there. But them being broody the full 21 days, she's on day 25 or 6, does not equate to them being good moms. She's probably the first one, I think, that we actually had to take babies away from her. Typically, we don't have to do that. Once they're broody and they sit and they hatch, they'll be fine. But for whatever reason, maybe because we took the eggs and then put them back under, I don't know. But my experience too, all of my olive eggers have been terrific moms, and she's like a mixed breed too, but she's too feisty and she wants to attack anything that comes near her, babies included. But we'll go see the other mom because she's been doing great. She's in our garage. We put her in a maternity ward so that none of the other birds would bother her, because right now we have some mixed ages, and there's so many babies with her, I don't want to risk somebody hurting them in the coop. And this is the coop that they're going to be going into. We're working on this. This is our second coop. Yeah, so my husband's still working on it. We just got the door put in last night, and then we just have to build right on this side. We're going to put a brooder area or a maternity ward so that a mom and babies can stay in there, or if we end up just getting babies without a mom, we can put them in there and they'll be safe. And then likely what we'll do is put half of our roost bars here, even though the door is like right underneath of it, and then roost bars and nesting boxes over on this side. I haven't quite figured out exactly how we're going to do that yet, just because I don't know, I'm confused on the layout where the door to go outside is like right there behind that board, so we'll have to figure that out. But that will be all there under the window is going to be the brooder box, so it'll likely be, like I said, roost bars here and then nesting boxes on the other side. And it's a lot bigger than the coop we have now, so it just allows us to have more chickens and them to have more space without being on top of each other. Okay, so this is Chicky. This is the mom that took all 8 babies. Yes, I'm talking to you. Anyway, she's got the 8 chicks in there with her. We gave her the chicks as they kind of hatched. They staggered hatch, but they've been doing great. She's been taking care of them. She really seems to be, enjoying it, which is nice. I will say, she got a little anxious when we first put her in there because she's not in the coop anymore. She's in our garage. And when we put her in, she kind of panicked, and then my husband went and got her and put her back down, and then we put the babies under her and she was totally fine, and she's been in there now for 3 days and she's been doing great. We always have the incubator ready just in case something happens that they decide halfway through they don't want to be broody. This has been the first time we've ever had to take eggs away from our hens to put them in the incubator, but we do have that option. And I also always have everything set up, like we had the brooder plate and stuff ready if she decided that she wasn't going to take these chicks, because you want to keep them warm. You can't let baby chicks get cold. But she's been totally fine. It'll be interesting to see how she does with 8. I think the most we've ever given our hens to hatch is 6, and like 4 top have hatched. So we've never had this many babies hatch from one single hen, or 2 hens I guess, but one hen taking care of them. So it'll be interesting to see how they do and, you know, what it's like as they get bigger. We are hoping within the next couple of days to get her out into the other coop so that she's got more room and it's just more comfortable for her, because eventually she is going to want to take these chicks outside. I've noticed that usually by the end of the first week, our mama hens will take their babies out. There's your babies, chickie. Huh? Are they all underneath you? We also just use this little rabbit cage, or big rabbit cage I guess, to use as a maternity ward. We have used this plenty of times for baby chicks as we get them integrated to the other chicks. That way they're safe and they're warm, and if we have them in the garage then we just put some heat plates in there with them and they do really well with it. The most we've ever had in this crate is like 6. By the time they're about 4 weeks, that's when we start getting them out to the coop. And like I said with her, she's going to go out to the coop with her babies at some point because this just isn't going to be enough room. She hasn't really been getting up to move just yet, but I would say within the next couple of days she's going to want to start kind of wandering around with the babies instead of being cooped up in there. Plus, as they get bigger, they're going to be running around, and it's just a lot for 8 chicks and one mama to be in there rather than being in the coop. But like I said, we have a lot of chickens right now, and excuse me, bud. We have a lot of chickens right now, and I just don't trust 8 babies running around in that coop with her, which is a big reason why I wanted to have a separate area in the coop for them. Somebody just laid an egg. They're all going crazy. What you guys doing? These are some of our older hens. Hi, Caramel. These are the original hens that we first got when we first got chickens. So they're about 2.5 now, and they're great. That's our barred rock back there. She's a little bit of a spaz, I will say, but that brown one right there is probably the friendliest. She's always around, and if the kids are digging in the dirt, she's digging with them, and anytime the kids are out, she's right with them. They're really sweet. And that's just a brown bovine. We also have a couple black bovines as well. And that's our rooster, Flapjack. He's our original rooster. He was one of the first birds we ever got. And so far, so good. He's been great. You can pick him up, you can pet him. He's not aggressive at all. He's been the most docile rooster we've ever had. Most of our roosters, we end up with an issue of them being a bit aggressive as they get older, and he never has. He's always been very, very sweet. He's huge too. These are a couple of our, I call them the teenagers because they're not really little babies anymore, but they're not full grown. They're about 13 weeks old. There's 6 of them, and I'm pretty certain of the 6, 4 of them are roosters, which really sucks because nobody wants roosters, so it's really hard to rehome them, and you just can't have that many roosters with that amount of hens. Hey, that brown one back there, I'm quite certain is a female. My husband thinks that this one is also female, but I don't think it's a hen. I think it's a rooster. That comb and wattle is looking awfully bright to be a hen, but the feathers are kind of throwing me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see in a few weeks. They should start growing, and then we'll know for sure. Who's missing? There's only 5.
Oh, that is butt beak. Where's butt beak, Mom?
Oh, right, buckbeak must be in the coop. This will be the only rooster we keep I named this one Buckbeak. I'm pretty positive this is a rooster. My husband disagrees, but I think if you look at his tail and his neck, definitely more rooster traits than... Where are you going? Definitely more rooster traits than hen, but beautiful looking. I think it looks really, really sweet. Yeah, so my plan to have that coop as an area to kind of put birds that are broody is just because I feel like, one, they take up a lot of room in the nesting boxes when they decide to go in that coop. There's 4 nesting boxes in there. That's where they want to go broody, and it just becomes a pain because other chickens are trying to get into the nesting box. Sorry, the roosters are having a crowing contest. They're trying to get into the nesting boxes and it creates havoc, and if you try to take them out and put somewhere else, they go bananas and then they go back in there. Whereas if we could put them in here in an isolated area, it would be a lot less stressful, but just easier as well. We don't have to worry about eggs getting broken like they did in that coop, because that was the big thing that I was worried that would happen with other eggs. It happened once before too, a couple of hatches ago. We had a hen that, I don't know if she got up and one of the other chickens tried to peck the egg, but we ended up losing that chick, and it was really close to hatch. So having them in a designated spot just kind of eliminates that. I feel like we didn't really think about that when we built this coop, because there's nowhere to really put them inside that coop where they're away from the other hens. But also, I wasn't experienced enough to know like how often are they going to go broody and what breeds are going to go broody, because we have, for instance, our bovines. There's a brown one over there. They never have gone broody. We even have the brown one that I was telling you, Caramel. She's like a mixed breed. She was supposed to be an Americana, and she's definitely not. Sorry. And then there's the Leghorn mix. She's a white bird back there. Neither one of them have ever tried to go broody. The only ones that have ever gone broody is our olive eggers. They seem to be the only ones interested in having babies, which is nice because, sorry, yeah. Some breeds are notorious for going broody. A gray bird back there, Sunny, she's an Easter egger, or an olive egger, sorry. And she goes broody every fall. As soon as it gets cold, for the last 3 falls, because I guess she'll be 3 this fall, so the last 2 falls, she's gone broody, and she makes an excellent mom. She's super good with chicks. She'll take all the chicks that you can give her. She's wonderful that way. But yeah, her, and then we had 2 other chickens that were also olive eggers, and they also went broody, and sadly we lost those 2 last summer. We're guessing to a fox, and of course it's always your favorite ones. But now we have Chicky, who is the mom of one of the ones we lost, or the baby, sorry, for one of the ones we lost last year. And same thing, she seems to be doing great. It just, some breeds are really good and some breeds aren't. And like I said, always be prepared if you decide to let them go broody, because that doesn't mean they're going to be good moms. And it's definitely been the case with the one in there, Pepper. We're going to have to break her because she just won't get off the nest. But also, sometimes, you know, you can get a chicken that doesn't want to sit on the eggs as much either, and then they become good moms. It just depends. Chickens are weird that way. But I would say I probably wouldn't let her go broody again. I would probably next time break her as soon as she does, because I just don't trust her. And I would never leave a chick to chance getting hurt or getting eaten or anything like that, because I don't think it's fair to, I know people will say, let nature take its course. I don't like to do that. I feel like if you can prevent it, then try to. For instance, we had a chick that hatched from her babies and it had spay leg. We had to fix that. Seems to be doing okay now. It's getting around just fine. It's a pretty simple fix. Some people will say if they're born with any sort of issue, just leave it. And we never do that. We always interfere, and then the chicks end up being fine. So I would rather do that and know that we help the chick than just let it pass. It's just not my nature to do that. But yeah, I always love watching chickens hatch their babies. I think it's so nice. They do all the work. It's so much easier. You don't have to do really any work. You just make sure they're safe and they have food and they have water, and then everything else is taken care of for you. It's just so nice to just watch them, and it's cute to watch them interact with the other chickens too. And I just feel like you don't have to integrate them either, because obviously the mama will protect them and integrate them into the flock. Whereas when you raise chicks yourself, you have to be very careful that you don't have chicks attacking the babies, because they will. There's a pecking order, and it's called that for a reason, because they do peck at them. But this way, if there's any pecking or if there's any bullying, the mom will interfere, and also our rooster will interfere too. Every single time we've had moms hatch chickens, our rooster is just as protective as the mom is, which is awesome. So he doesn't really let anybody get near them, and that's great too, because if you have a mom that's kind of flighty and doesn't care, then you're gonna have to take care of them yourself, which is fine. It is what it is, but I would much rather us not have to do it, and then she can do it, and then we just have the benefit of having the chickens. Yeah, like I said, so we're getting pigs next month, I think on the 5th. And this will be our first year with pigs, so any advice is great because we don't have any experience, obviously.
Mom,
we know how to build,
there?
yes buddy, we know how to build like a shelter and all that stuff. And I'm not too worried about like getting set up for them. It's just kind of the care involved, I'm hoping is as easy as everyone says. We're really looking forward to it. We did our own chickens last year, and then I ordered some a couple months ago for this year. We really enjoyed having meat birds and still having them in the freezer, so now we're gonna have a pig. Hoping to have goats next year. My plan is to put them, I want to put them over here because I feel like it's closer to the house and it's kind of flat, and then they can go in the bushes back there. Makes it easier, I think. My husband wants to put them over here because there's a water source there. There's a little stream that goes through, and there's a bunch of like brush and stuff. We have a huge property, so we have lots of spaces to put them, but I'm just thinking in terms of ease of where to put them, where it's most ideal to come and care for them through the day, but also to have them close by because they're obviously going to be really little when we get them. And I don't know, I just feel like better off having them closer to the house. I would love to have a barn up here, probably like right behind where I'm at right now, and have this all like fenced in. I really want to get some goats. We're gonna have the pigs. I want to get a cow at some point for meat. I don't have any intentions of doing a dairy cow, but we're definitely expanding into other animals. I was hoping to have goats or sheep this year, but it's been such a crazy year that we haven't been able to set up for it yet. I mean, it's still early. We may have the opportunity come later in the summer, but we'll see. For now though, we're getting the pigs in a month. Really excited about that. Hoping that goes well. I'm sure that it will. Just one step closer to being more independent with our food source. I haven't started gardening, and it honestly might be too late to garden now. My plan was to originally start gardening in the spring, and it's just like I said, things have been crazy and we haven't gotten around to it. Hoping maybe in the next few days I can start some seeds and then get that going. A dandelion, nice.
I'll let you keep it.
Thanks, bud. We've been thinking more and more of things that we want to do and ways that we want to just be more reliable or be more independent with food and just the way everything is right now. We got the chickens like 3 years ago, and at the time I knew I wanted to get other animals. My husband was kind of iffy, but he's even been saying now it's been nice to just have our own food source and know where our food's coming from and that everything's stocked and available and we don't have to go to the store as much. And given where we live, we have a ton of land around us. We live out in the country and we have a lot of freedom to do that. So I'm hoping to expand that even further. But any tips and advice on like growing a homestead and the easiest way to do it and the most practical way, I feel like the most practical thing is just learn as you go. That's what we've been doing with our chickens. We just learn more and more each year, and this year we'll have more animals and we'll learn from them. It's definitely a fun process. It teaches you a lot and kind of makes you more appreciative of where your food is coming from and how you're getting it. Even eggs. Eggs has been like a big thing that you don't really realize, like the work. It's not that chickens are a lot of work. They're actually pretty easy. But just the difference between, you know, having your own eggs and having store-bought eggs, and people will get eggs from us because we have a surplus, so we're able to give some away. And they'll say, you know, the comparison is crazy and they hate to go back to store-bought eggs because they're just not the same. And I feel like pigs are going to be the exact same way. I know a lot of people will do like meat rabbits and stuff too. I don't know if I'm really ready for that. Have to see as time goes on, but ducks for sure. sheep or goats. I think sheep are a lot easier to have than goats, and now the pigs. And I'm just really looking forward to expanding things more and just experimenting and seeing how things go. That's what happens when you have 2 young roosters. This is why you also can't have a ton of roosters, because they will fight. And they start pretty young. Once they really start to mature, even though I will say, even as chicks, I could tell pretty quickly, behavior-wise, who's a rooster, because they're just way more wild than the hens, in my experience. The only one we haven't had that with was Flapjack, our big rooster. He's always been the sweetest, but any other rooster we've had, I could tell as soon as they hatched that they were a rooster.